guys, one bench. War smelling salts, bottle insanity.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another Two Guys, One Bench, where we're 650 pounds on a 30-pound bench.
And we talk more shit than the amount of times Joe Biden stumbles and fumbles his words. That's a lot of stumbling and fumbling.
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school, a very poor background.
By the way, this is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister.
All right, everybody, we just got finished an awesome interview again. It was a tremendous little story about Josh Cloherty and his fiance, Bailey Duchesne. Darrell, what'd you think?
Great episode, great interview. Learned a lot again this week. Just learned about a new sport, the ins and outs, and kind of how they got started in it.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting to get kind of the perspective of people that started out and are about 4 to 5 years in. Josh is one of my actually original clients back in the day. I got him lifting heavy. And then with Bailey, she's taken the sport by the balls, so to speak, only about 5 years in, and is a pro in 2 divisions, weight divisions, which is awesome. So, we train at the same gym. We see them almost daily. So it's great just to pick their minds and get to know a little bit more about the sport of strongman, which Darrell and I are not actually experts in at all. So we're powerlifters. So definitely some differences there. And Josh likes to stick it to us, saying that, their sport demands a little more. We might beg to differ, but we'll see. But mad props to the both of them for giving us a little perspective into the sport.
Bailey Duchesne is strong, like really, really strong. Bailey played hockey growing up, but when she went to the University of Saskatoon, she had a classmate who was competing in the Strongwoman competitions.
So I went to go watch, and I thought it was super, super cool, and I thought it'd be a good way to kind of, lose weight and get into shape. But then once I started actually doing the competitions and stuff, I got really addicted to it.
Bailey started 5 years ago. She's only been a professional for 2 years, but she's making a name for herself. Recently, she was in Alaska for the Strongest Women in the World competition, and she finished second in her weight class.
Oh yeah, I was in shock for the longest time. I did have a couple goals written down. I never thought, it was more of a 10-year goal to even podium at Strongest Woman in the World.
Because of her second place finish at the Worlds, Bailey's qualified for the Arnold Schwarzenegger Pro Classic.
So I'm really, really excited. I'm going to be on the stage with the strongest women in the world ever. Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be on the stage with us and saying hello and shaking her hand. But now I'm nervous because there's thousands and thousands of people that are going to be in the crowd. And so I'm just going to try not to embarrass myself.
Bailey's best event is the yoke carry. She can carry 700 pounds. In the frame deadlift, she recently lifted 700 pounds from the ground.
I weigh 165 pounds and I lifted 700 pounds off the ground. So I don't know if that's really good worldwide, but that's really good for me, in my opinion.
And Strongwoman isn't the only sport Bailey excels at. Recently, she went to Poland and finished 4th in the Moss World Wrestling Championships. Congratulations, Bailey. You're this week's Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Denny's.
Strongman Nationals just wrapped up in Quebec City earlier this month. That is an amateur competition, and a Calgarian came away with a big smile on his face. Here is Glenn Campbell with tonight's Athlete of the Week.
Josh Cloherty is back at the Strength Edge gym. Josh may be 35, but he's working hard to move up in the strongman world. He believes it's an ageless sport.
You can keep going as long as you maintain your body. As long as you do the proper recovery protocols, listening to your body is huge. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it, As long as you do your stretches, your rolling, massage therapy, all that kind of thing, you can do this for a long time.
Cloherty Clardy's back from the Nationals in Quebec City, where he finished a very respectable 8th. He won the 180-pound Circus Dumb Bell for 8 reps and also hit some personal records. Clardy says the field was stacked and it'll give him confidence moving forward.
Being able to hold my own with them, it was huge. Like it was a surreal feeling almost to be like, you know what, with a little more training, I could do this.
Josh loves to compete, and he's hoping his 8th place finish will get him an invitation to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic Strongman World Championships, scheduled to be held in Ohio next March.
That's huge. That's everything. I mean, a lot of people compete to get a pro card, to compete on the pro circuit and stuff like that. But like, for some of us, that's just, that's the Super Bowl. Like going to, like as an amateur, being able to compete at the Arnold Classic, like even as an amateur, like that's huge.
As Clardy mentioned, right now he's competing as an amateur, but the goal moving forward would be to get his pro card.
Yeah, if I got the opportunity to win a pro card, I'd definitely take it and, keep pushing myself to the next level. I guess it's kind of the goal overall, is to see where you can push your body, like the limits of it, see how far you can go.
Congratulations, Josh. You're this week's Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Alberta Milk.
Awesome, guys. Nice to have you on the podcast. 2 guys, 1 bench. Right now we're looking at 2 walruses on 1 couch. Which is pretty awesome. Sorry, Bailey.
Glad to be here.
So anyways, we'd like to introduce Bailey Deshane and Josh Clarty, who has an Irish name but pronounces it like a white man from Alberta.
It's my Alberta accent,
Alberta.
Lordy.
Okay, so yeah.
I forgot my cowboy hat.
Anyways, well, we know each other obviously from the gym that we all train at, Strengths Edge, and I've known Josh for quite a bit of time. So let's just get into a little brief introduction for people at home that are wondering who you are and what this is all about. How about you first, Josh?
Me? Well,
yeah,
Josh Clardy, as you said, my white way of saying it, I guess, my Alberta accent. Yeah, just amateur strongman. Knowing Russ for, known you for a while, man.
At least
started training at
6, maybe 7 years.
Right. Yeah, something like that. One of my first trainers get me into strength sports and out of the world of pretend bodybuilding. So, been an amateur strongman now for 4.5 years, 4-ish years.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I remember when I first, so I started working at this gym, bigger gym in town, and I saw Josh. I'm like, who's this fucking guy rocking a mustache, number one? Who's this young man rocking a mustache? No one's doing that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And for a while, you had gotten rid of it. You had some more like some
my goatee.
Sons of Anarchy type goatee going on. But then I like to see the walrus stash is back. But yeah, I just remember seeing Josh, and I'm like, this guy's naturally a huge dude. And we're just talking about getting his bench press up one day. And
oh, yeah, that's right.
Eventually, the bench press, we got you over 3 pies. That's good.
Yeah.
What really surprised me was how your squat took off and how strong your legs were. So
yeah, that went up huge.
Yeah, you beat me to 500 pounds at the beginning there. That was pretty awesome. So
yeah,
one of my clients that actually listened to me and put in the work, and he was dedicated. We trained our asses off for probably like 3 to 6 months, and twice a week, and then you follow the program. Also, you did some boxing and stuff because you were a bouncer at the time. So yeah, it's been a while.
Wow. The bouncer at the time, but also, man, needed to shed a few pounds at least. And
yeah,
kickboxing definitely kicked my ass.
You were heavier back then, right? Or
I'm about the same weight now, just a little more. Yeah, a little more muscular and a little more athletic, if you will. As athletic as a walrus can be.
Yeah.
Well,
so
heard your intro. Now let's get on to Bailey.
Nice little sidekick there. Enough of your mustache.
That's right.
Hey.
Star of the show.
So I'm Bailey. I'm a registered massage therapist for about 4 years, and I've been training strongman for about 5.5. Kind of jumped right into strongman. I skipped CrossFit, powerlifting, all that. Just like went full force into strongman for weightlifting. And I've had my pro status for about 3 years now. And I just got my heavyweight pro status. So now I'm dual pro. Yeah.
Wow, double pro.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm not even a single pro.
I'm trying, man. I can give you that much. You're going hard. I see you training hard every day at the gym, and
Well, you see what I got to compete with, man. I got to keep up to her.
Well, yeah, that's the crazy part. Watching Bailey doing stuff like those duck walks. Her hair.
Oh God.
And seeing him in pain on the weekend from your deadlift programming, I was like, now you know how I feel.
That was brutal.
Tripled all the time.
I gotta know, does she ever pull the pro card on you at home? It's like,
oh yeah.
Like, it's your turn to do the dishes. You'd be like, pro. So no, I'm good.
Well, not necessarily like that. She just gets her little digs in here and there, making sure I know my place. But it's okay. My whole family gets in on it too. They all like to, give me the gears about how I'm the low man on the totem pole. So, but it's okay. My time is coming.
Awesome. So yeah, well, I guess that kind of segues into just how did you guys meet? I kind of just watched from a distance on social media.
We competed together actually at 2016 Spruce Grove Strongest Man and Woman.
Okay.
I didn't know he was there, but I was lifting, doing my thing.
I knew she was there. She had no idea who I was. All you see is this tiny little ginger walk up and go and start lifting. I think it was like 365-pound deadlift. So first off, there was so much drama around this deadlift because it was only supposed to be like 300 pounds or something. And there was a certain group that they just went crazy over it, saying how it's misloaded. Like the girls,
nobody can pull this.
Nobody can pull this. And this tiny little ginger walked up and repped it out for
won the event with 8 reps.
Yeah, just kept repping it out, and I'm sitting there going, oh, hello. So,
with my deadlift face.
Oh yeah, the that got me. I was right here,
like
man.
Low face times 10.
Oh, right? That was.
I'll pop a video in for that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to shoot to a picture of it.
Oh God, yeah, I got it.
We'll find one.
Have you guys competed a lot together?
Pardon me?
Have you competed a lot together in your?
Maybe like a handful of times we've.
Handful of times. Yeah. So we did Spruce Grove together, and then we did the Stampede show together, both as amateurs. And then once Bailey got her pro card, that kind of set her apart, right? So the pro comps are obviously different than the amateur comps. Usually they're held separately. Yeah. So, but there are different pro-am shows. So I did my first one last year, 2019. Yeah, War in the West. So that was.
We did that one together.
Yeah, we did that one together. And then after that, just the random ones like Shell Shock and stuff like that, which is coming up. But most of the shows, because like I said, the amateurs and the pros are they compete in their own divisions. So we don't get to compete together as often as we like, but I get to go watch her do her thing and she gets to come watch me.
It's nice to be big bitches for each other once in a while.
Yeah.
But then to compete both at the same time, it's a break from each other.
It's definitely nicer for me to be her bag bitch because, I get to go meet all the pros and see all the places.
He's a total fangirl. He abandons me and then fangirls over Derek Poundstone. And then, doesn't even matter how I did, he ends up being on the front page of the newspaper, leaned up against a freaking van, not doing anything. And he gets all the attention every single time.
Yeah, he's on CTV News, just,
Well,
it's the man. I guess there's something likable about you,
Yeah, it's the mustache that you keep laughing at.
Fucking stash, bro.
Everybody loves the walrus. What can I say?
Bailey, with you starting off, how Josh said the first time he saw you, you're already really strong. just kind of seeing what was your athletic background before all this, just for the people that don't know.
Before this, like I said earlier, I had no weightlifting background, but I played like every sport in the book. Once, like the day I learned how to walk, I was put into skates, and I've been skating my whole life. So my main sports were like hockey, ringette, fast pitch, and lacrosse. Ringette, I was very elite in that. I played AA for that. And then by the time I got to college, I didn't do anything. And then I gained a bunch of weight. So this was kind of my way getting back into something. And it's like a nice balance between like all these sports. On your sports teams, there's always drama and pointing fingers, blaming each other on things. Whereas strongman, you get to train with your friends.
And there's no drama.
No drama at all. But you get to train with your friends, and then day at comp, it's like all up to you. You can't blame anybody else. It's a nice balance. But yeah, that's my background, is every sport in the book I've done. So that's where my athleticism comes from.
So you had a lot of, kind of team sports background, hockey and skating, obviously that big leg power, right? Then Josh, I remember you were playing a lot of football back in the day, right?
Yes, sir. I played football all through high school, and then once I got out of high school, I just started up at the gym and, did the old every boy's dream of wanting to be a bodybuilder, and, did that for the longest time. And man, that just didn't work at all. It's hard to be a bodybuilder when you like to eat, so
you did
when
everything
you're,
bodybuilders do, but except the meal plans.
well, that's, don't get me wrong. I love my chicken and rice and veggie and stuff like that, but I also love cheeseburgers and pizza. Yeah, Walrus needs his cheeseburgers. So
Aren't you the cheeseburger walrus? Is that the moniker?
that is correct, my friends. That is correct. I do love a cheeseburger pretty much at least once or twice a week. So
you're
it
not
has to happen.
What's your favorite burger place in town?
Ooh, it's hard. There's so many of them, man. There's nothing. Well, actually, the little pub right down the street from our house has a really good burger. Five Guys, State and Maine has a decent burger. The Burger Bus isn't too far from our house, so and in a pinch, you can't argue with McDonald's.
There you go. I'm a big fan of Boogie's Boogie Burger. If you've ever been there.
Yeah, that one's not too bad.
Good.
It's a good stack.
So
what about yourself, Bailey? What's your place to go if he's cheeseburgers? What's your cheat meal?
These cheeseburgers, I'm Vietnamese. I like my vermicelli bowls, my salad bowls.
Oh.
Yeah.
See. Full in your life, eh? A couple of spring rolls.
Yeah. She likes the salad rolls.
Yeah, I like that peanut sauce a lot.
You like what sauce?
Peanut.
Like peanut sauce.
Peanut sauce.
Okay, good.
Well, since you both have athletic backgrounds and you're obviously in something completely different, just seeing, what do you think are some misconceptions people have about strongmen in general, like from each of your perspectives?
Okay, well,
a girl in the sport.
Well, for me, I know, like, when I first started, I mean, like, my athletic background was great and all, but like I said, like, getting out of it and going towards more bodybuilding stuff, like, go do a little bit of cardio on the treadmills, did the stepper for a bit, but there wasn't a lot of like running around. And then after training with Russ and getting towards more powerlifting style, being a bigger guy was always an advantage. You didn't really need that, you're prepping for one lift. You don't really need that cardio background kind of thing, right? So my biggest misconception was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. I don't need to move. I just got to be able to lift heavy weight. And then going into my first show, the first event was truck pull. Well, I pulled the truck. I was one of the fastest guys that did it. And I was still huffing, still gassed, huffing air, trying to catch my breath into the third event of the day. I was dying. So that was huge. That was a huge wake-up call for me, was like, okay, I got to be big, I got to be strong, and I need to be athletic. Like, I actually need to be able to move. I can't just lift this once. I got to lift this multiple times. So it was crazy trying to, so, and like going into it, you always see like these giant men that are like, oh my God, like how am I going to compete with those guys? And then out of nowhere, you'll get this little dude that comes up and all of a sudden he's the one that wins the show. And it's like, holy crap. Like, it's not really about body composition or anything like that. It is. It's just like how strong you are, how athletic you are, just overall as a whole, right? So I might be good at one event. I can win that every time, but if it's not in that show, I got to make up for it elsewhere.
Yeah. What about you, Bailey?
I kind of agree. Like, you don't really have a certain body type. Like in strongman, there's a bunch of different size men and women. I've always been told, I don't know, I'm too small or I don't have enough musculature that I won't go very far. But I have a lot of grit and I have a lot of heart. And I mean, that's why I went pro in the first place. I wasn't expecting it. It just happened.
That's it.
I don't know. Anybody can do this. If you say you can't, then you're obviously not going to. But once you start, then it gets really addicting. And
oh, for sure. Well, and it's funny because it's a lot of it's not so much brute strength. It's more technique based. So anybody can, power through like pull a deadlift, power through a bench, power through this. But then you get like certain things where you're carrying a sandbag, like Circus Dumb Bell, where there's the compound movements to it, and everybody has their little tricks and tips that make it better, and then like Bailey said, going back to that heart, that grit. One show that stands out in particular, it was YYC Fit Expo. It was a sandbag carry for distance. So just you pick this up and you go till you drop. And she literally was walking with this thing like bent over. It was that far off the ground. Like she was bent over, waddling, stepping, and got another like 10 feet out of it. And everybody's just sitting there like, whoa, watching it, right? So it is. It's everybody expects to see these giant monsters coming out to lift these heavy weights. But then,
there's me.
Yeah, then there's petite women, there's big women, there's little guys, there's big guys, there's older guys, like all shapes and sizes coming out to do this. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's what I like about. It sounds like now there's a lot of weight classes, so you don't have to be competing against guys the size of Brian Shaw. And so that's good. But
what are the weight classes for women? Like, how does that work?
Women, we have lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight. So lightweight is under 140 pounds, middleweight's under 180 pounds, and then heavyweight's open. Okay. Our weight classes in Canada for pro, we're just all pooled together because there's only 12 of us. So we just all compete together. But then once you get to Worlds and the Arnold and stuff like that, Worlds, you're divided into your weight classes. And then if you win or podium, then you go to Pro Arnold, and then that's when you're grouped back together again. So my weight doesn't really matter anymore. And I'm a middleweight, so I'm under 180 pounds naturally anyway. So
you're dual pro though.
But I'm dual pro, so that gives me more options, because some qualifiers that are in Spain, it's only a qualifier for middleweight or heavyweight. So if I do a qualifier in the States and I don't qualify, now I can go to Spain and try to qualify as a heavyweight if I wanted to. So there's more opportunities. So that's why I was kind of, I guess, convinced to take it. I didn't think I would use it, but I think it's a good strategy to have.
Is there any way to lose your pro status?
There is.
Yeah, good question. We're really trying to enforce a no bullying rule right now. It sounds silly, but there's a lot of...
It's all over. It's everywhere, right? Like
lots of keyboard warriors out there. So.
Yeah. Just trying to make it a more frowned upon thing, right? Practice what you preach. I mean, you're telling your kids not to do it, and you have full-blown adults doing it to each other. It's a little ridiculous, but...
So just that, be respectful, be professional, and then we have a rule just to compete once a year. Obviously, this year's kind of a write-off because all of our competitions have been canceled. But yeah, we'd like to try to do once a year. You get a bye if you're injured or pregnant. That's about it. But it's easy to do one show a year, I think.
Yeah.
So
I guess before they were having a problem with people just like getting their pro cards, and then that was it, right? They have that status, and then they just kind of screwed off, and then would come back kind of if they wanted to or if they didn't, right? So it's more or less just to keep everybody try to keep the sport growing and keep everybody involved,
we need to be
right?
active. We need to get Canadian names out there.
Yeah.
To be good representatives. Yeah.
Well, you guys mentioned bullying and just kind of being, the way people act towards each other. And I think that kind of highlights, like, let's say, Eddie Hall and Thor and kind of all the drama going around.
Yep.
What happened there in the World's Strongest Man or whatnot. And I feel like, my personal opinion, Eddie Hall is kind of the biggest bully out of all those guys. People like him, but I his attitude is kind of,
I feel like this past weekend, even though Eddie wasn't involved in that record breaker, it spoke a lot to his character. Like Josh, you and I were talking about it. How before the event, Thor, I don't know if you saw it or not, but he was telling everybody, good luck. I hope you guys smash it, blah, blah, blah. He's not sitting there talking shit from his basement on stream about these two athletes that are going to do, because he knows to do this lift is not easy. So it doesn't matter what you do. You can try and break it, but it's unreal, and it just shows.
I really respected that from him too. But even Big V reffing and judging all of these too. Everybody's trying to beat his log record, and
he's the first one to congratulate them.
He wants somebody to get his world record in log.
Records are made to be broken. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, everybody wants that record and they want to hold it forever for their name to go down in the books or whatever. But what's the point then? Like, it kind of makes it redundant, right? Like, okay, you have this record, it's never going to be touched. Nobody's ever going to go after it. Well, okay, that's great. That's fantastic. But it loses its prestige at that point if nobody's trying to break it. Yeah, Drell, like you said, with Thor coming out right away being like, yeah, let's go, guys. Like, I know one of you can do this. Like, go for it. Get at it. Like, it speaks huge to his character on it. Like, the whole issue between him and Eddie is, I don't know, everybody thinks it's great for the sport. Like, it's bringing in so many more spectators and whatnot. But I think it's hurting the sport just because of that fact. Like, it's promoting bullying. It's promoting guys shit-talking and going back and forth. Like, it's one thing to rib somebody, like give somebody a hard time and then, hug it out at the end of the day. Like me and my buddy Colton, we go back and forth on social media. We'll talk shit to each other at the show.
It's like they're dating.
Yeah, but then we laugh and hug it out, right? Like, it's just how it is, but we're not like
gamesmanship.
Yeah, exactly. The gamesmanship of it, it is. It's sportsman. Like, you talk shit, you have your fun back and forth, but you don't cross a line and, end up hating each other for it. That just, I don't know. It promotes bad blood into the sport. It just makes it okay for other people to start doing it. Kind of draws it. It's a setback, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
so recently you guys competed in the national tournament. Is that correct?
Yes, nationals out in Quebec.
Meet, or what do you guys call it? A show?
Just a competition.
Okay.
So Canadian nationals for strongman, is that just amateur?
Yes. Well, they had an amateur and they had a pro division.
Nice.
So because of the situation going on with COVID and everything, like the pro shows, like all the other shows, have been getting canceled all over the place, right? So this was just a way to give the pros something to do.
Usually we wouldn't compete at amateur nationals. We have our own Canada's Strongest Man, Canada's Strongest Woman, but yeah, they just let us come and hang out and join the fun.
Hang out with the underlings.
Pretty much. Just to reinforce, their superiority over us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was nice though, because we had one guy come out, Wesley, and like just to see, how did that next level, it's nice for the amateurs to have that there, because you're competing alongside them, even though they know like you're not being scored with them or anything like that. So it kind of gives you a gauge of where you're at, right? So I got a lot of work to do. Darrell will talk, but no, like it's just nice.
How did you both do for the people that didn't see the results of
Give
it?
us a little rundown of how the events went and
Your best events, worst events.
and then how the whole trip went. You know, with the whole COVID.
Josh obviously won Circus Dumb Bell. We were really hoping for that, so
No.
he did really well in that.
So the events were, it was a yoke walk, 800 for the men. It was an 800-pound yoke walk for 120 feet, an axle deadlift, 605 for 3 reps, and then right into a 650 barbell for as many as you can. 180-pound circus dumbbell for reps. At 305-pound axle deadlift hold for time. Oh yeah, duck walk to farmers, 425 duck walk to 300 a hand farmers. And all this is for like either 120 feet and everything's timed, right? So you have 60 seconds per event to do all these things. So I did all right for myself. I managed to pull off 8th overall. So I did personal best in the yoke. Like, yoke's always been a real struggle for me. It's kind of just one of those events that doesn't seem to matter how much I put into it, how much I try. It just sucks the life right out of me every time. But I managed to finish it in a decent time, so that was good. The deadlift, well, I hit all 3 reps on the axle at 605, which again is a personal best for me. And when I went to pull the 650, I got all set up, and as I'm getting ready to pull, I look down, and the axle straps that we have, they're way longer than the regular straps, right? So I looped it around and went to pull, and I was standing on my strap. So you can see I have my video, and I'm like trying to shuffle my foot over. But then when I went to pull the weight anyway, like I barely even took the flex out of the bar. So it was like, I'll walk away from that. So yeah, it was good. And then the Circus Dumbbell, I managed to hit first place on that. So I got 8 reps with the 180-pound dumbbell, which was pretty sweet. It was hard not to. I had 𝐓.𝐆.𝐻 judging me, so had to show off a little bit. Try to anyway. So that was a little bit of a surreal experience.
Was that in his barn, or where was that? The event.
In our secret hiding spot.
Yeah.
That nobody knows.
Talk about that. Okay.
Yeah, it was in a legit COVID-free, highly sterilized zone.
Yeah, because Quebec is really on top of their COVID shit right now. We all know
They are. They're 100%.
Oui, oui. We do not have the COVID in this country.
Grande fromage.
Oh, man. Okay, side note, the Grande Fromage thing there. So after the meet, after the competition, we got back to our Airbnb, and I don't know if it was because of COVID or whatnot, but like everything shut down. We were looking at all the, Googling and pulling up all the times for all these businesses and shit around us. And, everything's like, oh yeah, open till 11, open till this, open to that. It's like 9:30. So we go walk around, everything's closed. We ended up going to the gas station that had booze and stuff. So we got some beers there, and we were like, hey, screw it. We'll just order on Skip the Dishes or whatever. Well, we get back, and like we're trying to order on Skip the Dishes, and nobody spoke English. So we're like trying to get across to them, like, we just want pizza, grande fromage, like pizza, damn. It was a little frustrating.
No English at all, eh? It is like.
Well, no, there was a lot, like most of them spoke English, but a lot of the, like late at night like that, they just, I don't know if they just didn't care or whatnot, or just done with the day, but the places that we got did not speak a lot of English. So we were lucky enough to have Caroline, one of the owners of Misfit. She stayed at our Airbnb with us, and she was able to get us food. So that was good. But
awesome. So how did things go for you, Bailey? Obviously you got your second pro card there, but like how did everything go?
It was really good. I just went there planning on just competing in the pro division with my friend Jackie. We were the only 2 pros that showed up. So just her and I all day. But then doing the points at the end of the day after everything already happened, we kind of forgot that I would be considered an amateur heavyweight because I only have my pro card in middleweight. So we put all of my points together under heavyweights afterwards, and I ended up coming in second. So that, because I podiumed, I got a pro card. But I won the first event. It was a 525 yoke. So I got the fastest time in that. This is all in the heavyweight division. Then deadlift, it was a 385 axle deadlift for 3, and then 405 barbell for an AMRAP. So between the two, I got 9 reps for second place. And then Circus Dumbbell, I had a 105 Circus Dumbbell for reps, and I got 5. I got 6, but one of them got disallowed, but either way, that's a PR. So I was happy with that. I think that got me 3rd. And then duck walk to farmers. Yeah, it was like a 300-pound duck walk. Like totally different straddling 300 compared to waddling with 300. And then a 200-pound farmers. So the farmers went well. Duck walk, not so much. But I think I still got 3rd place in that. And then axle double overhand hold. That was 215. So I didn't hit that in training, but my tendonitis started flaring up in my elbows, which can really affect your grip strength, obviously in your nervous system. So I just took the week off before the comp, hoping to just let my elbows take a break. And I ended up holding it for 13 seconds. So I got second place in that event. Yeah. So overall, got 2nd place. I lost 1st place by half a point. So it was really good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
Great trip for you guys, and you guys, smashed it.
Oh yeah.
Some other Albertans that came with you that did pretty awesome too. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Killed it.
Alberta did really well.
Lots
yeah.
of podiums.
There was so Ryan Jabs, he came out, he got 5th overall.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Kyle Evanoff, he ended up winning the lightweight men's, so he did really well. Therese got 2nd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tied for 2nd in her weight class in the lightweight women. Megan, her 2nd show ever, and she got 4th overall. So that was pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was out there?
Ryan Erskine.
Oh yeah, Ryan Erskine. I'm not sure how he did.
I think he got 3rd or 4th.
4th, I think, because I don't think. Yeah, he did really well as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alberta did great out there.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, and it was a great setup. I mean, it was a little bit of a runaround to get everything going, just with the COVID restrictions and stuff, and making sure that we followed it properly.
We couldn't even watch each other compete.
Yeah, so they were only allowed, like, given the restrictions, we were only allowed like 25 people in the venue at a time. So each weight class, each division, everything was broken up to allow that to happen. So I mean, a regular competition usually starts around 9 or 10 and then goes till 4. This one ended up starting at like 6 a.m. and went until 9 p.m. at night. Like, just to like, Emily and Antoine went above and beyond to actually like put this on and make sure that it happened for everybody. So like, it was a little bit of a different experience than what we're used to, but it was awesome. Like, it was really good. So
I'm glad I went.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. One thing I wanted to get into a little bit is I know, Bailey, you're a massage therapist, and I've definitely seen Josh incorporate a lot more recovery stuff into his training over the years that I've watched compared to when I trained him.
Hey, you didn't do much either.
His recovery was eating
Pharrell's like,
at the bar and having a couple darts. But what I wanted to know is, other than training, what are the things you guys do to improve your performance? So do you, for recovery, nutrition, sleep, just some things you could add to people that are starting out that want to just get a little bit of an edge. Obviously, the training is necessary, but you got to do other things as well.
Like, do you do ice baths, acupuncture? Is it mobility? Is it cardio? Just anything that...
In the summer, we like to do some contrast hydrotherapy, so hot shower and then a cold shower.
It's not so much fun in the winter.
Not so much, but I do recommend ice baths for sure. Massage, chiro,
You don't have
physio.
a penis, Bailey, so you don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
No comment.
Did you just assume that she doesn't?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Yeah, okay. I'm assuming your gender. My apologies.
It's 2020,
That's
Russ.
why
Come on.
That's why you're so strong. That's why Josh looks so happy. Oh, anyway, sorry to break in there.
No.
Yeah. Massage, chiro, physio as well are really good. I would definitely do that monthly at least. Starting to get Josh into a little bit of yoga now. It's entertaining to watch, but it's very beneficial. More mobility exercising.
Jarrell's been forcing me to do a little more mobility work, so
Nice.
it's been good though. It helps. Definitely helps.
McWalrus does yoga.
McWalrus does yoga. Yeah. That class with Leah is quite nice. I don't know. I've done a couple yoga classes, which they weren't too bad, like overall, but I don't know if you guys have ever been to one of the regular yoga classes. You get this giant man that walks in, the instructor literally starts like salivating, going, "Oh, I'm going to make this guy, let's see what he can do." Right. And then the entire class, they just like poke and pick at you. And, you know,
I've had one where the woman used me as an example, and she was very odd. She laid on my back as I was in on my hands and knees and just laid on me. I was like, what's going on?
So,
Yes.
what kind of yoga you going to, bro?
It happened. It was like for the trainers, they brought in this yoga lady. She was a bit nuts, as they usually are, but not Leah. What I like about her, obviously, she lifts and she knows what we all go through and the pains.
That's huge.
On top of that, she can do backflips and all kinds of crazy shit. So
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, a lot of it's just listening to your body, right? Like if something hurts, don't push it. Take the time to, like stretch it out, ice it. Like Bailey said, massage therapy, chiro, physio, like massage therapy is huge, right? Like even getting a Theragun or something, a foam roller to have at home, something you can use on yourself on a regular basis. A lot of times, first thing we do when we wake up is, put on coffee and lie on the floor and roll out a little bit, stretch, get moving, right? Kind of warm everything up. So, but it comes a lot from listening to your body. Sorry to cut you off.
I talked to Bailey a bit about this on the weekend briefly. Do you have like set days to work out, or do you just do it when you feel good kind of thing? Like here's 4 days that you need to be done in a week, do them whenever you can kind of deal, or is it set?
Well, our coaches use the True Coach app. So it is like set days technically. Like this week I'm supposed to train Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, and then I'm doing static monsters on the Saturdays. So it's like my normal like workout schedule is usually like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They like to, it depends on the coach and it depends on what you're doing, right? Like, so for me, just the way my program's set up is I get, I do like my overhead day, a leg day, and then I get a day off before I do either another like pressing style day or like an events day, and then a day off, and then I do like my deadlifts and stuff like that, right? So it's kind of a strategic way of giving your body that chance to recover a bit before that. But again, like you said, it's
mostly up to you, however fast your body can recover in between.
Yeah.
But if your coach is giving you a 4-day week program, I would definitely follow it in that order: day 1, day 2, day 3 before, for that reason. But the way you break it up with rest days in between, I think it's kind of up to you.
Yeah.
Plus with your life, it wouldn't say gets in the way, but there's more to the gym than.
Well, there's just more to life than just lifting,
Yeah.
right? Like for Bailey, she's a professional athlete as a strong woman, but that doesn't,
but
pay
also a massage therapist full time.
Yeah.
So.
Strongman doesn't pay the bills. So it's kind of one of those, I don't know. There's times when I work, I'm a welder. I work 10 hours a day. There are days where I have to put in 12, 16 hours. So I'm not after that, like, if that happens, it's usually a last minute thing where the foreman comes out and goes, hey, can you stay late? So I don't have enough food on me. I'm not really prepped for that to happen. So it's not like I'm going to be able to get a good lift in afterwards. So I'd rather just, take that day, go home, actually eat something, shower, go to bed, get a good night's rest, and then try to pick it up again the next day, right? So, like, I think it's just in the app that it has the set days. But yeah, like Bailey was saying, like,
preference.
yeah, it's just the preference, right?
If you can do it, if not, it's not the end of the
Yeah.
world. Just if you show up to the gym, awesome, good.
Oh, for sure. And there's like a lot of new people. So when you're new into the gym and new getting into it, like I'm sure you guys know from when you first started lifting, you feel like you can go every day and you're constantly like hitting new numbers, doing this, doing that. And it's not until you finally start to slow down where you go, oh God, like I need a break, right? Like those newbie gains, that's a real thing, like you constantly hit that stride and keep going. Then it just kind of, you run into that wall.
Yeah. So so it sounds like you guys have a pretty good grasp on the sport, a lot of experience. So have you branched off to coaching other people in strongman, amateur or pro? That being?
We're not certified personal trainers or anything like that, but since there is not a huge there's not a lot of strongman coaches out there that are available locally, that we more so volunteer our
we volunteer our time, right, to help out and everything, right? Like it's
for us.
Yeah. And that's basically what it is. Like we have a couple athletes that we program for. And it's more or less like they came into the sport, literally had no idea what was going on. They got some okay advice from people around the gym and whatnot. Like everybody has their own way of doing things. But for us, it's like, okay, well, like my first experience walking into Strength Edge was, I went and started doing log press and thought I was doing pretty good. I had 3-time Canada's Strongest Woman, Allison Lockhart, come up to me and go, hey, like, that's not too bad. Like, you want me to show you something that'll help? I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Stop doing everything like the way you're doing it and do it this way. So I was like, oh, okay, well, right on. So, like we've been lucky enough that we got a lot of like tips and tricks from the, people before us kind of thing, right? Like, again, how I was saying, like I'm pretty lucky, like Bailey's a pro and she knows a lot of different people. So I've gotten to tag along to a lot of these things and pick the brains of certain people, like I've gotten to actually sit down and talk with Derek Poundstone, hang out with Nick Best and talk to him about stuff, like actually get like little things from them and to add to our training and stuff. And, it helps that we have 2 coaches that are close by that, they send us videos. They're very interactive and very helpful. But like for us alone, like just because we've been around the sport for, like, we're still technically fairly new. Like I've only been doing it for 4 years, Bailey only 5 years, but just with the experience and going back and forth, like talking to so many people, I've talked and picked the brains of so many people to get as much information as I can to find not necessarily the easiest way to do it for myself, but just different ways and different understanding on how, like, hey, picking up a sandbag. Okay, well, what else can I train that's going to allow me to do that without actually physically picking up the sandbag each time, right? So little things here and there. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Probably the biggest topic of this whole podcast would be, when is the Walrus wedding?
Come on! Oh. Somebody's fun, man. He doesn't need it. Oh, yep.
Josh had just placed second in Alberta and won the CAASA Circus Dumb Bell press Canadian record. So after accepting his trophies and his titles, and then after lifting Bailey over his head to celebrate, he said, "I may not be Alberta's strongest man, but you could make me Alberta's luckiest man." Bailey, of course, said yes.
I found Bailey and she said she was so happy.
Not till you go pro.
Oh, come on.
Whoa, we could
Wow,
be here for another decade now.
Damn, savage. Wow.
Yes,
McWalrus wedding.
just want to say that congratulations. We saw, I'll put the video down right here, but Josh proposed not too long ago right after a tournament, provincials. And it even made the news, didn't it?
It did, yeah. So, surprisingly, it's.
So, and you did your token, you're pretty good at just grabbing Bailey and putting her in an overhead press, but more remarkable.
It's our signature move.
Yeah.
It's the signature move, yeah.
Bailey can stay so stiff during that whole time. That's the key, right?
Taking some practice. There's been some close calls, falling face down on the ground, falling.
I've never dropped her. I've never dropped her. Each time I've, fumbled or whatever, I've always caught her. So she has yet to hit the ground.
Because he'd be extended over top, and then I'd go to look at the camera, but I would turn my whole body, and I would roll right out of his
Instead
hands.
of just doing this, she turned. So it was like, ah!
I got it down now. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and normally when we do it too, there's a crowd around. Like when we first started, it was like, okay, there's nobody around, Kate, no pressure. And started doing it when there's a crowd around. So it's just like, crap. But it's good now, I'm stronger with my overhead press, so I can just strict press her. I don't have to push press, so it makes it a little easier.
Awesome. So yeah, we're looking forward to that strongman, strongwoman wedding and seeing the press while Bailey's in a wedding dress. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
Awesome, guys. So just want to thank you for being with us and sharing your story. It's really awesome seeing you almost daily at the gym and training as hard as you guys do. It's really commendable.
Yeah, I'm happy I met you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Actually, it's nice that COVID actually happened, because now you guys are at TSE full time now, and
yeah, you get to come to our gym instead of wherever you were before.
Yeah.
We've been floating around, or at least I have. But yeah, it's nice. It's a perfect setup for what we do, whether it be powerlifting, strength training, strongman. So yeah. All right, guys. Awesome talking to you. One last thing. How do we, or anybody that's interested in reaching out to you, how do they get a hold of you?
You can hit me up on Instagram. I'm the 𝐓.𝐆 Strongman.
Okay.
He is, yes. Instagram as well for me. Mine is 𝐵.𝐷�Z Lemon Squeezy. But if you just type in my name, Bailey DeShane, I'll pop up. And then if you also want a massage in Calgary area, I work out of the Strength Edge in the Northeast. Also on Instagram, Fire From Within Massage.
Awesome. Well, I'll point them in your direction. Do you guys have any sponsors as well you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Nobody in particular. Maybe just
No one comes to mind.
Whoa.
No one comes to mind at all.
Breasticulars right in the camera. That's a big sponsor. Yeah. Okay. Misfit. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe they can send us a couple of t-shirts to wear on the podcast. Darrell, what do you say?
Yeah, I might have to.
All right, guys.
I'm sure we can talk to Caroline and Josh and get them to hook you guys up.
Something.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, take care, and we'll see you soon.
For sure. Take care, guys. Thanks.
Before we sign off, I just wanted to kind of address something real quick. How Josh kind of alluded to earlier that strongman is different because it's not just pushing a bar and it's not just pulling a deadlift. There's a little more grit. It was a subtle way to be a dick. We heard the insult. I'm not gonna let it go, but
yeah, wasn't he talking about bullying?
Yeah.
Jeez, I felt a little bullied there.
Yeah, I felt cyberbullied on that one.
Oh well, we'll let it slide.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. 2 Guys, 1 Bench. Catch us next week when we drop a new episode for you.
And don't forget, guys, eat big,
train hard,
and always stay fight ready.
War smelling salts. Bottle insanity.
2 Guys, 1 Bench.
Muteki Strong Mindset with host Russell Peel. Home Gyms YYC.